If you are intending to renew your U.S. passport right now, or if you have already initiated the process, I need you to pause for just 1 second, because what I am about to present to you in the coming few minutes could spare you weeks of holdups, a denied application, and potentially even a canceled trip you have been organizing for months. Today, as of April 12th, 2026, thousands of Americans are committing the identical passport renewal errors. And the most troubling part is, most of them had absolutely no clue they were doing anything incorrect. Some of them captured perfectly sharp photos at home and believed they appeared excellent. Some of them visited websites that seemed entirely official. Some of them figured their passport was acceptable because it still had a year remaining on it. And many of them discovered the hard way, at the airport, at the consulate counter, or in the shape of a rejection letter in the mail, that they had overlooked something essential. So, today on US Updates Hub, we are going to review every major error people are committing right now, what the present regulations actually state, and precisely what you need to accomplish to get your passport renewed accurately and without avoidable delays. Let us begin with the error that is surprising the most people off guard in 2026, and that is the passport photograph. You might assume a passport photograph is the easiest element of this entire process. You capture a picture, you print it out, you fasten it to your form, and you proceed. But as of January the 1st, 2026, the regulations surrounding passport photographs in the United States have shifted substantially, and the enforcement is now tighter than it has ever been. The State Department enacted a zero-tolerance policy on digitally altered passport photographs beginning October 30th, 2025, with complete enforcement becoming active on January 1st, 2026. Under this policy, rejections are now conclusive at the initial stage of review with no opportunity for appeal. Let me repeat that once more because it is significant. If your photograph is flagged, your application does not merely get returned with a message requesting you to resubmit. It is denied outright, and you have to restart the process over from the very start. Now, here is where it becomes complicated for a lot of individuals. The U.S. State Department expressly declares that photographs must not be modified using computer software, phone applications, filters, or artificial intelligence. Even automatic smartphone beautification features activate automatic rejection. And that is the detail that catches people most off guard. You did not apply a filter, you claim. You did not alter anything, but here is the reality. Many contemporary smartphones have beautification or skin smoothing settings activated by default. You may not have intentionally engaged a filter. Your phone may have accomplished it for you without you being aware. And the State Department's automated detection systems are now advanced enough to identify even minor forms of digital modification, including background substitution, lighting adjustment, skin tone correction, and any variety of retouching. In 2024 alone, over 300,000 passport applications were denied due to non-compliant photographs, a figure that prompted these tighter enforcement actions. So, what should you accomplish? Before you capture your passport photograph, inspect your phone's camera settings and confirm any beauty mode, portrait enhancement, or AI facial feature is entirely disabled. Utilize your phone's standard rear-facing camera, not the selfie camera, which tends to produce more lens distortion. Position yourself in front of a plain white wall, not beige, not cream, not light gray, but white, with uniform lighting on your face. Natural light from a window during daylight hours performs very effectively. Confirm there are no shadows on your face or behind your head. Maintain a neutral expression or a very natural slight smile with your mouth closed. And if you are uncertain, visit a pharmacy like CVS or Walgreens that provides passport photograph services, because professional photograph services are considerably less likely to generate a non-compliant image. Utilizing a professional passport photograph service and requesting them not to apply any digital modification is the most secure approach. The few dollars you invest on a professional photograph is considerably less than the expense of a denied application and having to restart your timeline. Now let us discuss another significant area of misunderstanding, and that is the question of when to renew and what the regulations are surrounding passport validity. Many individuals assume that as long as their passport has not expired, they are acceptable to travel. That is simply not accurate for most international destinations, and misinterpreting this regulation is what leaves people stranded at airports every single year. The 6-month rule is a widespread requirement that your passport must remain valid for at least 6 months from the date of your entry or departure to or from the nation you are visiting. Many airlines also observe this regulation and will not permit passengers to board a flight without a passport with sufficient validity time remaining. So, if you are journeying to Thailand, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, India, or dozens of other nations in Asia, the Middle East, and beyond, and your passport expires in, say, 4 months, you could be refused boarding at the gate before you even depart the United States. Countries including mainland China, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, India, Nepal, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Jordan, Israel, Egypt, and Turkey are among those mandating at least 6 months of passport validity. This is not a comprehensive list. Requirements differ and can shift, so always review the U.S. Department of State's destination-specific information at travel.state.gov before you journey. Now, what about Europe? This is a question we receive frequently. Europe operates under a slightly different standard. Most nations in the Schengen zone demand that your passport be valid for at least 3 months beyond your intended departure date from the Schengen area. That is a narrower window than the 6-month rule, but it is still not merely valid through the day you arrive. And with Europe's entry-exit system continuing to expand in 2026, border documentation is being examined more rigorously than ever before. The optimal practice is to renew your passport when it has 12 to 18 months of remaining validity. This straightforward habit prevents last-minute scrambles, removes stress over 6-month rules, and guarantees you are always prepared for spontaneous international opportunities. Consider it this way. Your passport is not merely valid or expired. There is an entire spectrum in between, and for international travel purposes, that middle zone, where your passport is technically valid but not sufficiently valid, can generate just as many complications as an expired passport. So, when should you initiate the renewal process? According to the U.S. Department of State, routine processing currently requires 4 to 6 weeks, and expedited processing requires 2 to 3 weeks with an additional $60 fee. It may also require up to 2 weeks for your application to reach a passport agency, and up to 2 weeks to receive your finished passport after it is printed. U.S. Department of State. That indicates even with expedited service, you are facing a total of 6 to 8 weeks or more from the day you dispatch your application to the day your new passport is in your possession. If you have a trip reserved and your passport does not possess sufficient validity, do not delay. Begin right now. And if your travel date falls within a few weeks, you may need to schedule an appointment directly at a regional passport agency for urgent in-person processing. You can locate the list of agencies and appointment details at travel.state.gov. Now, let us discuss something that many individuals do not contemplate until it is too late: the form you utilize to renew. This is one of the most frequent process errors people commit. The DS-11 form is for first-time applicants, and the DS-82 is for qualifying renewals by mail. Submitting the DS-82 when you do not meet the criteria results in denial. So, how do you determine which one pertains to you? You can utilize Form DS-82 to renew by mail if your most recent passport was issued when you were 16 or older, was issued within the last 15 years, is not damaged or mutilated, is in your current name, or you can document a legal name change and is in your possession. If any of those conditions are not satisfied, for instance, if your last passport was issued more than 15 years ago, or if you were under 16 when it was issued, you need to apply in person utilizing the DS-11. And there's another significant regulation about the DS-82. DS-82 mail renewals can only be dispatched through USPS. FedEx or UPS shipments will be returned unprocessed. That one surprises people by surprise constantly. Utilize the United States Postal Service. There is also now an online renewal option that has been broadening. The only official authorized place to renew your U.S. passport online is mytravel.state.gov. To meet the criteria, you must be age 25 or older, Possess a passport expiring within 1 year or expired less than 5 years ago. Not be modifying personal information like your name. Not be traveling for at least 6 weeks from the date of your application. And be situated in a U.S. state or territory at time of submission. U.S. Department of State. If you satisfy all of those criteria, online renewal is a practical option that the State Department has been broadening. But, and this is extremely important, other websites or companies asserting to renew your passport online may be deceptive. These websites impose extra fees and jeopardize your personal data. Even if a company features the word gov in its name, it is not authorized to accept or process online renewal applications. Always verify that you are on a website concluding in .gov, not .com, .us, or .org. U.S. Department of State. This leads us to one of the greatest traps circulating right now, third-party passport websites. You have likely encountered them. They appear official. They feature professional layouts. They guarantee fast service. And they occasionally even employ government-sounding names. But many of them are not what they seem to be. Some are legitimate expediting services, and there are authorized expediters cataloged on the State Department's website. But many others are merely harvesting your personal information and fees while accomplishing very little or nothing of substance. The only place to submit your own online renewal is the official State Department portal. The only place to obtain precise information about your application status is the official National Passport Information Center, accessible by phone at 1-877-487-2778. And if you suspect you have been targeted by a fraudulent passport website, the State Department instructs you to report it at the designated fraud reporting address and to the Federal Trade Commission. Let us also discuss briefly about children's passports because parents frequently overlook something significant here. If your child is age 15 or younger, their passport is valid for only 5 years, not 10 years like an adult passport. U.S. Department of State. You cannot renew a passport for a child under age 16. You must apply again in person utilizing Form DS-11. U.S. Department of State. Both parents or legal guardians generally need to be present or supply documented consent. This demands preparation, especially if one parent is unavailable. Form DS-3053 is obtainable for situations where one parent cannot appear in person, but it requires a notarized signature. Afford yourself plenty of time and review the official requirements for your particular situation at travel.state.gov. Here is another detail that catches people off guard. If you renewed your passport and you previously possessed a valid visa from another nation stamped inside your old passport, that visa does not vanish. If your old passport contains a valid visa, you can still utilize the valid visa. You must travel with both your new passport and your old passport holding the visa. U.S. Department of State. Do not discard your old passport simply because you obtained your new one. Retain both documents together when you travel until that visa expires or you secure a new one in your updated passport. And here is one additional thing worth noting for frequent travelers or anyone who possesses global entry, TSA PreCheck or other trusted traveler programs. When you renew your passport, the number on your new passport will differ from the number on your previous passport. If you possess global entry, update your trusted traveler account with your new passport information. U.S. Department of State. If you do not refresh your records with Customs and Border Protection's Trusted Traveler Program, you could encounter delays at the airport even with a valid enrollment. Now, stepping back and examining the broader perspective, what is the single most crucial thing you should carry away from everything we have addressed today? Inspect your passport right now. Retrieve it from the drawer or the safe or wherever you store it. Examine the expiration date and ask yourself, if I desired to travel internationally within the next 12 months, would my passport possess enough validity for the nations I want to visit? If the response is anything other than a confident, yes, initiate the renewal process now. Do not delay until you have flights reserved. Do not presume processing will be quicker than it was previously. Afford yourself the time cushion you require. Utilize the correct form. Navigate to the official government website. Capture a compliant photograph. And if you are uncertain about any element of the process, Consult with an attorney or a certified acceptance agent at your local post office or courthouse. Before we conclude today, I want to offer a brief reminder about something that pertains to everything we examine on this channel. Immigration and travel policy can and does shift. The information in this video mirrors what we understand as of April 12th, 2026, based on guidance from the U.S. Department of State, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and USCIS, as well as coverage from credible outlets including Reuters and the Associated Press. Please always confirm your particular situation against the most current official guidance at travel.state.gov and usa.gov. And do not hesitate to consult a qualified immigration attorney or passport specialist for your individual case. Nothing in this video represents legal advice. It is educational information crafted to assist you comprehend the landscape so you can make informed choices and pose the appropriate questions. If today's video assisted you in understanding what to inspect before you renew your passport, please give it a like. It genuinely does assist more individuals find this information when they require it most. And if you know a family member, a friend, a neighbor, or a colleague who has been discussing renewing their passport or organizing an international trip, please forward this video to them. It could spare them a genuine hassle. Subscribe to US Updates Hub so you never miss an update on passport regulations, visa modifications, immigration policy, and travel requirements. We are here to maintain you informed, prepared, and assured, no matter where life is carrying you. Review the description below for links to the official State Department passport portal, the National Passport Information Center contact number, and resources from CBP and USCIS. And as always, we are in your corner. Stay informed, stay prepared, and we will see you in the next one. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute legal advice.